President Obama arrived in New York today for the start of the UN General Assembly and high-stakes meetings this week with Vladimir Putin and Raul Castro. We're joined now by CBS News Foreign Affairs correspondent Margaret Brennan. Margaret, the Putin meeting is tomorrow. What can we expect?
Well, this is the very first time that Vladimir Putin and President Obama have met in more than a year, since President Obama very publicly froze out Putin following that military intervention in Ukraine. So Putin has really managed to turn that U.S. strategy of isolating him on its head, and he's forcing the president to deal with him due to another military buildup, this time in Syria. So despite U.S. calls to stop, satellite images show that Russia has sent in troops, warplanes, sophisticated military equipment, and today we learned of another complication. The Iraqis, who the U.S. works with in the fight against ISIS, announced they're going to coordinate with the Russians, plus Syria and Iran. So all this really caught the White House by surprise. So tomorrow, President Obama is going to walk into that meeting and try to figure out, is Putin doing what he says he's trying to do, fight ISIS, or is all of this just to buttress his own position and that of his ally, Bashar al-Assad?
Not what the White House wanted to be talking about right now.
Not at all. The White House would really like to be talking about its diplomatic wins in Iran with that nuclear accord and with Cuba and reopening relations. In fact, President Obama will be meeting with Cuban President Raul Castro, who's going to take the world stage for the very first time at the UN this week. He doesn't have a plan to meet with the president of Iran. That would be politically difficult considering there are still Americans being held prisoner there. So when President Obama takes the stage tomorrow, he's going to talk about international alliances to have peacekeeping, to deal with the refugee crisis, and protect the environment.
Margaret Brennan, good to see you here in New York.